Alright, we're back with the Forgotten Worlds. We're going to warm up with some alt route. And then after we're warmed up, we're going to go for the normal route. Alright, here we go. Let's see how we do. It's 3 days until Shmuptember Marathon on RGL. Let's check in with schedule and see if it's changed. It has not changed. We are still slated to be the third run of the marathon. So it should be hype. So when I say we're warming up with the alt route, that means I can go into any shop and get any item that I want. Usually I like to take the Balkan Cannon or the Flamethrower, but it varies. I've tested some strats on bosses. It turns out that the laser can be really good for the stage 3 boss. And if you can use it really precisely, it can be adequate for the 4th stage boss. But at the 5th stage boss, it just falls apart and you lose so much time. And the great majority of this run, time saves are isolated to boss kills. And you have to get them down as quickly as possible. Did it really take that much to create this game? That's got to be the arcade. I could see maybe the arcade versions coming to that. That's insane. I need to get my commentary lined up for my run. I gotta touch base with Z. I'm shy about that. Clean stage 1. Good job. Clean stage 2. Sloppy. Okay, end of the warm-up. Time to get serious.
Why so serious?
What's up, Jed? Bert? Yo, hold up. Whoever that was, thank you for that dono. Greatly appreciated. Cannot see right now as the run's getting pretty intense, but I will look, and thank you so much for your generosity. Let's get the hype for our dono in chat. Shermie made you do it. I mean, look at her. She just screams, throw money at me. Thank you so much for that dono, Esh. Glad you're enjoying the stream. We're getting down into crunch time for this marathon. We didn't get the good pattern. We're in trouble. I had to pull a crazy move there, but we survived with a sliver of health. Holy crap. That's a good one, Z. I messaged you about the commentary on this thing, Z, if you're still interested. I think it starts at like 7, maybe 8 in the morning your time. We got a command in the chat. It's the shmup command. It'll bring it up. Two deaths in stage 6 is not good. Trolley Iceman. Yeah, that's what this run boils down to, is napalm. And a lot of dodging. We're in trouble now. The run is in trouble. Alright, here we go. I'm gonna have to play this fight safe. Alright, we finished the run. That's the most important thing during the marathon, is that we finished the run. Holy crap, Ash! We have met our goal. And then some. Thank you so much once again. And Shermie thanks you as well. Stage 6. I've got to get better at Stage 6. Stage 6 is just the bane. In the middle of Stage 6, we had 2 deaths there. Just because there's so many enemies and they spawn from everywhere. I've got to try to find some new lanes in there somehow. I need to rehydrate. I'll take a quick break, and then we're going to do another run. Okay, we are back. Let's do better. We got to get this thing down. Okay, so in addition to having some written notes, I guess what we'll do for this run, Z, is I'll explain what I'm doing during the run. And I can pause it here and there. And then we can reference this VOD. I'll highlight it, and then we'll have comparison for in-game notes. I think that'll work pretty good. So timer will be going for this run, but I'll be pausing it to explain what's going on here and there. Okay, so first of all, welcome to Forgotten Worlds. Classic arcade shooter from the late 80s. Was more popular in the arcade than the Sega Genesis. This is still my favorite version, however. When I first got this game, I took to it immediately. So we're doing some notes for the speedrun here. The normal category. There's also a normal alt category. The normal alt category uses different items and takes a little bit longer because you're going into extra shops. The biggest time saves in Forgotten Worlds speedrunning come from quick boss kills and skipping the shops. There are other minor time saves that you can have along the way, which include lag reduction, and I'll be noting those parts of the run as well. I do have auto-fire on. It's pretty cumbersome to play this game unless you have a different type of controller input without the auto-fire. The game also does have a hard difficulty. I do have the world record in the hard difficulty as well as the normal difficulty. New world record in the normal difficulty came recently, a couple weeks ago. So we only visit 3 shops in this run. Stage 1, Stage 2, and then Stage 7. So we're missing out on all the extra power-ups, all the life boosts, all the armor, and that's pretty demanding. You have to not take many hits. Timer is offset to 3. At the first input after the screen. So this is our initial satellite. It's the V cannon. It's pretty weak, but it gets its job done to get you to the first stop. You want to clear out these enemies pretty quickly or they can start being a problem. As you can see, by staying right here in the middle of the screen, you can do that. You want all 3 of your shots to hit them. Your satellite can also protect you from projectiles. And that's a big part of surviving in this game, is keeping your satellite ahead of you. Which I did not do there, but I had some smooth moves. Okay, first shop. If I take a hit, I will buy this item. If not, I won't buy this item. We did take a hit, so I'll buy it. We're going to buy one of these flying stones. This increases your speed based upon the stone that you purchase. I take the ultra high, which is the gold flying stone. And there's really quick inputs that have to happen in the shops. And if you get a misinput or buy the wrong item in the shop, the run is over. So then we buy this, the Prosen of Resurrection. This is key in survival in the run. This will bring you back. And these can stack. You get 1 in each level you visit. So we take that. And then we have just enough to purchase this item. The rockets are better for most people learning the game early, as they track all the enemies and it's easier to survive. This one is a little more demanding. You have to be more aggressive and defensive toward the enemy. But this item can get you a quick kill on the boss of this stage, which is why we need it. Because we're going to place it right in front of the hitbox of the boss. And so it's taking all 8 lasers at the same time. And you can see it was not actually 3,000. They give you a discount because you trade in your old weapon satellite, and it has an assigned value. So moving on. Rip timer. This headlight can be good for hitting enemies behind you, but it's just pretty slow. As you can see, the lasers are slow. The rate of fire is just not there. So in this area, we can... If we shoot these pipes here, they'll rupture, and then the blue flame shoots out, and we'll take damage. Also, there's big gears in this area. I want to shoot some of them because they give you a bunch of zenny, or blue coins in this game, for the shops. Also, this is air hump. You gotta do air hump. You're gonna see air hump a lot in this game. I know Z will like that, because the 12-year-old in him applies to the 12-year-old in me. Alright, now I need to get positioned right here. So my gun and laser are shooting it, and that was the quick kill. Zenny is another important part of this run. You have to do your calculating right, because the timer split doesn't come until after the countdown finishes for your Zenny. So you want to finish with as little Zenny as possible. It's another part of routing in this run, and it requires quite a bit of attention. You got to know when to stop trying to go for more Zenny, based upon what you're going to spend during the rest of the run. Right now I'm trying to stack what I can get, because you're going to need just what we can get early. Second shop. Again, if we take a hit, we're going to purchase this. We did. As you can see, after you purchase it, it increases in value. The blue numbers below this are for the second player and two-player games, so they can see how much they've spent and how many they bought. We get our first life and only life pack here. We're going to buy it. That will increase our max life, as you can see. We take the booster. This is our main gun that we're firing. This increases its weapon firepower. We take another potion, because we need 2 to finish the run. In theory, you could finish it with 1, but it's really difficult. And then, as you can see, we have a choice of missiles and napalm this time. For the longest time, I didn't think the napalm was very good. And then I discovered how good it can be when you are using it correctly. This will be the weapon that will carry us until stage 7. There are other weapons in the run that we feature in the alt route, such as the laser, the Balkan cannon, the bounce shot, and they're all cool and they have their own gimmicks. But in terms of getting quick kills on bosses, the napalm is unparalleled. We'll be leaving the shop now. This will be our last shop until stage 7. Coming out of this shop, it can get tricky. There's a lot of enemies that spawn in quickly, and it's easy to get trapped here. You have to be moving very quickly and getting them down. There's also going to be a hidden armor power-up that appears at the bottom of the screen where I'm shooting. It will only appear if you know where to shoot it. We find one of those in this stage, and there is one in stage 5, and there's several in stage 7. In addition, there's other hidden items that we can find, and I'll highlight those when we get there. But yeah, coming out of this shop is pretty intense. You have to be moving a lot here. I took a hit there. You can see there's the armor power up at the bottom of the screen where I shot, that gray armor. It's small, so it can be easy to miss. The armor will protect us from 3 hits. So at this point in the stage, I'm going to go to what I call Sky Gunner position. I stay at the top and the middle of the screen, and I do sweeps from the left and the right of the screen. And I'm mostly going to stay focused from this angle here, because there's going to be a lot of enemies coming down. It just works good for this part of the stage. You want to stay high here because those things will get you. That end section can be difficult to dodge. So coming up on the Dust Dragon boss now, I'm going to be moving to a specific spot, and I want to focus my gunfire on first the gut, if you will, of the dragon, and then it splits open and we reveal the heart, and I want to try to get on that. We'll probably take a hit or two here, but you have to get the quick kill. Okay, stage 3. The start here is pretty standard. It's going to be a lot like stage 1. It's going to start scrolling diagonally, and that's where it's going to start getting intense. There's going to be enemies spawning in from both sides, and I'm going to have to be paying a lot of attention to where I'm shooting. In the alt route, you can choose to go to this shop and pick up either the flame or the laser. I like the flamethrower. It's wide and it can deflect a lot of enemy projectiles. The laser is actually proven to get the quickest kill on this boss in this stage possible, but it just falls off later and you end up losing more time. I want to stay right here in the middle. I'll keep constant fire on those spawning enemies. This part gets intense here. I would have gotten hit if I didn't get my satellite right in front of me there to deflect those enemy projectiles. There's hidden Zenny up here. There's also going to be a hidden PAL item, and that will restore our life as we come up into the base area. These barriers can slow you down quite a bit if you don't get your napalm on them immediately or your satellite. For this area, you're going to see me moving up and down a lot. All the enemies are usually on the top or bottom of the screen here. There's some lasers that can be pesky, and I'm going to be getting the hidden PAL item coming up, which is right there, you can see. Alright, we're coming up on Air Hump Part 2. This boss can be a pain if you don't know what to do. We're going to want to do a specific pattern here. He's going to be swinging his fists at us from the left or the right, depending on where you're at on the screen. We want that fist to come in and then dodge out of the way, and we're going to concentrate our weapons fire right on the bottom of his chin. Just like that. And as you can see, because of this angle, you're able to block the lasers that he shoots at you. So you can just continue your weapons fire. You want to keep as much weapons fire as you can on him for as quickly as possible, obviously. And that was good. Typically, you want to get him down before 3 fist phase. You don't want to see a 4th fist. Pun intended. Okay, stage 4. This game starts getting really difficult now. You really have to make sure you're staying in front of the enemies because they're shooting a lot of projectiles at you. There's going to be branching paths. In this stage, we're going to be taking the north path or going up twice, as that is optimal for us. And when I say optimal, I mean in both the gameplay and lag reduction. The southern path can cause a lot of lag. I know they're spawning here, so I just keep my weapons fire here. Sometimes it can be easy to shoot the wrong path, and then the run is basically over. For this stage, you want to make sure that you're shooting as many of these as possible, because it can get crowded, you can take hits. You have to remember to keep your satellite in front of you when they shoot, or you won't be able to block their projectiles. I'm going to stay low in this section. This is where the enemies are going to be spawning in at. Again, in the other modes, we would take this shot for whatever items we need, but we're going to be skipping it. This section here can get intense. You have to kill these enemies very quickly or they become a problem. Going up. The lower path here I call the spaghetti path for obvious reasons. It can cause a lot of lag because of the lahars down there, or mud floods. So now here come the meatballs to complement the spaghetti. For this section coming up, we're going to be reducing lag by shooting at the ceiling. There's going to be a lot of debris falling from there, and excessive amounts of debris can cause lag. Key section of this stage coming up. This next enemy set that spawns, the quicker you get these enemies down, the quicker the boss will spawn. You can actually gain or lose up to 4 or 5 seconds here. Okay, that was good. Okay, this boss coming up can be tricky. The first phase, you want to keep as much weapons fire as you can on its head. And I'm going to do a certain pattern where I'm just tapping up a little bit and moving up, which is the most efficient way to get this first phase of this boss down. Good. As you can see, the napalm did work there. Now, the second phase of this boss is really tricky. You have to hit a very specific spot, which is right on its neck. And the napalm can get a very quick kill here. The laser can get a decent quick kill. The flame can get a decent quick kill. All the other weapons don't stand a chance here. This boss, you can lose a bunch of time if you don't know what to do. Like I just did right there. That should have been a single phase, but I didn't get it on the right spot. Stage 5, things start getting a little more intense now. A lot more enemy spawns. There's a hidden armor pickup in this level that's coming up later. It's extremely important to surviving in this run. A lot of the enemy sets in this stage are the same as the last stage, so the same strats as aforementioned apply here. So at this point in the run, if I have very little health, I may decide to take the marathon safe route and take this shop. If I do decide to go for a marathon safe route, this will be the shop I take for sure. So heads up on that one, Z. And if I go in here, I'm going to be purchasing, I believe, the wide shot, or no. I'm just going to be purchasing armor and life. We don't need a weapon upgrade at this point. And that's the marathon safe route only. If I feel good about my health at this point, I will continue on. Taking the shop is anywhere between a 9 to 10 second time loss, easily. That's a really tricky spot again coming out of that shop. There was a lot of enemies there. I had to move very quickly. So it was once thought that the lower route here would be faster. And I believe technically, if you do it correctly, it takes some lag reduction. You can save, I believe, 0.6 to 0.7 seconds. But the armor upgrade up here in the northern route, the upper route, is the selling point. Also, if you don't see the face here, then you must not have pareidolia, like I do. There's the hidden armor power-up. This is a key pickup in this run. I really want to take as little damage as I can from this point on. We kind of need to be able to absorb several hits on the boss to get the quick kill, unless we get the good pattern from the boss, where we might be able to save quite a bit of life. So again, lag reduction skills here. just like at the last of that, or the part of the last stage, you can lose a bunch of time here if you don't get this enemy set down quickly. That was a little slow. Okay, this boss. The Solar Boat of Ra. The game actually has a really weird name for this boss. I think it's like Gisketinit or something? Being an esoteric scrawler, I looked into the name. I didn't find anything. Okay, if we get the good pattern, then the turrets won't spawn at the top and the bottom of the boat here. Bad pattern means we just have to try to keep our napalm and gun on the beak as much as possible. And we did not get the good pattern. And I got too close there and the barrier came up. That's another factor in this fight. You have to make sure you got the right range or the barrier goes up. And that's an obvious time loss. Okay, we survived. That's what's important. A bunch of time can be lost on that boss if you don't do it optimally. Okay, now the toughest stage in the game. This is by far the toughest stage in the game. There's constant spawns, there's constant enemies. They are a little tanky, they absorb several of your shots. It's very difficult to survive this stage. We'll probably take a death or two here. No deaths is obviously optimal. 1 death is usually good. 2 deaths, you're in trouble. We will be skipping the shop here. This is a point where we have to start looking at our Zenny also. I believe 115,000 is enough for what we need. So at this point, I'm going to be trying to avoid as much Zenny as possible. That can be troublesome because that can cause lag, but I'll do my best. There are hidden power-ups at the bottom here. These drums will restore part of your life. Very important. All of the hidden items in this stage are references to other games from Capcom. And they have specific names in the manual. Those dragons that spawn leave a bunch of Zenny, and that can cause lag. So you want to try to get them down quickly before they start spawning across the screen. There's our second hidden item. The manual says this item is called the Yasichi, but very clearly it could be described as a pinwheel or other symbol. This actually gets us Zenny, so I'm going to be skipping it. And there's the last hidden item down there. That's the Sacred Cow from another, I believe, Capcom reference. That will give you Zenny as well. So I'm going to be skipping it. These monks are the worst part of this stage. In addition to the soldiers, they spawn in quickly, they shoot a bunch of projectiles, and they spawn in groups. It can be very difficult to dodge them. You have to try and block their projectiles with the satellite. You're constantly moving in this stage. Those green enemies can also be a pain. They spawn in very quickly and move quickly. There's 2 routes you can take here. If you go down, you risk going into the shop. I think it's only a frame or 2 frame input there that will get you into the shop. You can slip under that iceberg, but it's really tricky. If you go up above, there's a bunch of hidden Zenny there. So I have to try to slip down below here. And I didn't get it, so I had to get the Zenny. Wow. See, life is getting low here. You're going to take damage in this stage no matter what. You just have to try to mitigate it. We have 2 potions to revive. Again, 1 death is good. 0 death is optimal. I don't think we're going to have that. The soldiers start spawning in now. When the soldiers spawn in, there's usually already 5 or 6 enemies on screen. There's going to be another section coming up where there's a large enemy that spawns at the bottom of the screen, and they shoot a lot of projectiles and can be a problem. The toughest part of the stage is at that point. all you can do there is just try to stay alive and get down as many enemies as you can. You can kill the big guy, but you're better off trying to dodge the enemy shots. A second big guy will spawn later, and we can get him down pretty quick, usually. As you can see, these monks also have invincibility frames when they spawn in, which is, again, very troublesome. Okay, here's a big guy. This is the toughest part of the stage right here. You've just swarmed. Usually I try to get over here and hide behind the big guy a little bit. And he shoots those projectiles that home in on you. If you do die, all the enemies on screen will despawn and blow up, so that's one savior. You want to try to keep your napalm right there on his mouth, because that's where the projectiles spawn in. Trying to avoid all the Zenny becomes another hurdle in the stage. Staying alive is hard enough. Staying alive while trying to avoid Zenny when you don't want it is even harder. Okay, this next boss coming up is called Iceman. The napalm is the best weapon, bar none, for this boss. Every other weapon you can get up to this point of the game, you're guaranteed anywhere between a 10 to 20 second or more time loss on this boss. And the reason is splash damage. The napalm has the splash damage that stacks for every frame that it moves. And this boss has really weird hitboxes, so you need this weapon to save time here. Iceman can move anywhere on the screen and go off screen where you can't hit him. So you have to kind of try and circle around him and keep him moving around. He kind of follows you. Ideally, you just want to keep the napalm on him as much as you can in your gun. I missed a little bit early, but the rest of this fight was pretty good. Right, coming up on stage 7, final stage, we still got a potion. We're in good shape here. As long as you have a potion coming into the stage, you're in good shape. This is the second most difficult stage in the game. There's a lot of enemy projectiles here. One key part of time mitigation in this stage, time loss mitigation, there's going to be barriers that spawn in from the sides of the screen. And the screen stops scrolling when they're on screen, so you have to get them down as quick as possible. And the best way to do that with a napalm is to get the satellite right up on the center one as quickly as possible. It will also shoot a bunch of missiles at you, so you want to keep at an angle a little bit and try and absorb some of those. I got that buried down pretty quickly there, but we had to take a hit for it. These enemies that kind of look like snails are very annoying, and they fire a bunch of projectiles if you don't get them down quickly. And the projectiles are small and they will home in on you. In addition to those missiles there, For these missiles, I want to get my napalm on them because the wide radius blows them all up on one hit. There can be lag in the stage. I will try to mitigate it where I can. As you can see there, if you're on screen and you're scrolling and it pushes you off screen, you'll take damage. As you can see there's a bunch of hidden Zenny on each side, but I don't want it right now. If you do need it, you can pick it up on the stage. There's some very expensive items in this net shop. There's a hidden armor power-up right there, which is usually key. We have a sliver of health left. You have to clear the path and then get it. Took a death there. That was bad. I thought we had enough armor. Okay, this is the last stage shop. There are 2 shops in this stage. We only visit the first one. First thing we get is the homing laser. This weapon is the best weapon bar none by any standard. And with this weapon you can get the quick kill on the boss, proven, the final boss. In addition to being able to destroy the rest of the barriers quickly that will spawn and stop the scrolling. As you can see, it's quite expensive. This is the other item we get, the super booster. This will increase the power of our regular gun. I would have taken the life refill there and saved a bunch of life, but sadly I died right before I got into there. Which is kind of bad, actually. At this point in the speedrun, I might consider going into the next shop for the potion. For marathon safe route. And we're definitely going to want that armor. The special armor can absorb 5 shots. The regular armor will absorb 3. So as usual, coming out of the shop is always intense. You have to kind of move quickly. I took a hit there. So the laser can cause some lag with a bunch of enemies on the screen. I try to keep near the top middle of the screen to reduce that lag, but there's some points where it's just unavoidable. Another key item of the homing laser is that it has a piercing effect, and its hitbox is very wide. So it can block, and for some projectiles it can even pierce right through them. That can help you a lot in survival. Hidden armor pickup here. And then there's another hidden armor pickup. I presume that's for a 2-player game. And there's also a POW over there to restore your health if needed. I don't think I need either one at this point. Actually, no, I do need to get that POW. So at this point, our Zenny count is looking very good. We had a really good Zenny route for this run, which was I was hoping to be able to describe. We have very little left. That will make the ending count quick, and we'll save time there. Another hidden Zenny there, but we don't need it. This next section you can lose a bunch of time here. there's going to be a double barrier section. You have to get them both down quickly while trying to not take much damage. That was a good berry there. That was quick. There's the second shop. In casual, you'd only want to obviously want to get in there for the potion, the armor, and they have another weapon selection in there. There's also an item in there called the dress, which we might as well take a look at here. As far as I know, all the dress does is it gives you some type of scoring bonus. I'm pretty sure in the arcade version it did something different. Well, in Marathon Safe Route, I will come in here if I have enough Zenny to get this potion, this armor, and a life refill. As I don't need any of that, we're going on. Another tricky double barrier section there. Coming up on the final boss now. I want my satellite positioned like this because this is optimal for deflecting the enemies that are going to be coming from the sides of the screen. You want to keep your fire concentrated on the boss or it won't move to the next phase. There are 4 phases of this boss. The first 3 phases are he's just on the throne and there's enemies spawning. The 4th phase, he will start flying around and attacking. As you can see there, I didn't take a hit. I was able to easily mitigate the damage. Third phase, you're going to take hits here. There's just no avoiding it. Okay, now this phase, this makes or breaks a lot of runs with this phase. This enemy has a very strange hitbox, and the only time you can actually hit that hitbox is when it's shooting the lasers at you. So what you have to try to do is taunt or provoke the boss by moving in a certain manner to get it to shoot those lasers at you. Because if not, you're going to lose all the time at the very final boss. This is why a lot of people don't run this game. Those things he fires, he's not vulnerable when he shoots those. He's only vulnerable for a couple seconds when he shoots his laser array at you. And that's another reason why you want the homing laser here. If you're at the right angle, it can pierce the laser array and keep you from taking damage. Just like that. That was at just the right angle there. It pierced his entire laser array, and he takes optimal damage when you do that. But we're in big trouble here. We only have a sliver of health left. And we got it, barely. Wow. On that last shot. That was a pretty good boss fight. So yeah, that's video notes for Forgotten Worlds. I'll have it broke down for you in other notes as well. See? Appreciate you stepping up for me. All right, we're going to get into something else here momentarily. We might go to the Wheel of Rando. I think I've had enough Forgotten Worlds practice for the day. Sit tight, and I'll be right back. Okay, we back. It's time to go to the Wheel of Rando. What will the Wheel of Randall have for us tonight? Get your bets in now. If it's factorial, then we're going to be here a while. Because we got a lot of shit to do there. What is this? A decision has been made? What's us nest today? Alright, we're going to cut stream real quick. We'll be right back for VOD purposes. Sit tight, and we're going to have a free Enterprise Randall Seed coming up. Be right back.